The new Microsoft Whiteboard has come out and it has a bunch of new features that increase functionality. And then it has some old features that went away for a while and they've come back because of a lot of feedback that Microsoft got. There's a couple of old features that'll be back soon, the ruler and the Bing image search. There's one feature that I do hope they improve based upon feedback, and that's the eraser. But there's also one really weird glitch. In this video, I'm going to show you that glitch, and stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm also going to show you a very useful trick that'll help you in the classroom. It's a way of creating your own templates that you can use in the Microsoft Whiteboard. Let's go have a look. This is a glitch that came about because of a comment that was made on one of the videos, specifically about creating templates and reusing whiteboards. You'll notice here, let's say I've created this whiteboard and everything's blank. And let's say I use this every day in my note-taking class. So I want to reuse this whiteboard and I want to collaborate with different groups of students on this whiteboard in different sessions of my class. So you might say, well, wouldn't it be nice to make multiple copies of this whiteboard and then in each class I could fill it in with those students? Well, the problem here is if I go back home here, you'll notice that I have this note-taking class. I could delete this whiteboard and I could rename this whiteboard, but I cannot copy this whiteboard. So if you right click on there, there's no right click. The only options you have is to delete it or rename it. So you might say, oh, I'll get clever, Frank. I know what I'm going to do. What I will do is I will take that whiteboard and then I will select all of the objects on that whiteboard, everything on that whiteboard. And then what I'll do is I'll just copy all those objects to a new whiteboard. So you just create a new whiteboard and you'll just paste everything in there. And that's a pretty clever idea if it worked. When I right click and hit paste, it says note grid. What's up with that? So what's happened is it's actually looked at the objects on that note-taking class whiteboard that I created, and rather than paste the objects onto the new whiteboard, it pastes the name of the objects on the new whiteboard. And it also seems to randomly select which object it's going to do. So for example, if I just selected this object and copied it, and I went over to my new whiteboard, it's going to tell me what the name of that object is. So rather than actually put the object on there, when I paste it on, it's a tube. So now you know that that's the shape that Microsoft refers to as a tube. So you can see that's obviously that's not very useful. So I did say I could show you a little bit of a trick here. Unfortunately, it's a workaround that's a little clumsy, but it does work, and there's actually some other reasons why it might be useful for you. What I could do is rather than copy everything here, I could actually go in and I could export it as an image. And then what I could do is, so I'll do it as a high resolution image. So I'll export it out as an image, and it's just going to go into my downloads. So in this case here it's called Whiteboard 5. That's another thing as well. It will not take the name of the whiteboard, just calls it Whiteboard 5. And then what I could do is I could go in and I could create a new whiteboard. And then what I could do is I could go into documents and I could bring that image in. So, or I can go to images as well. I could grab the image from my device. And then what I could choose is I could choose downloads. I could choose whiteboard number 5. I got a whole bunch of things here. And you can see it now puts that on there, but it puts it on there as an image. So it's all going to be one collected set of items. And then I could go in and, you can make notes on there and that sort of thing. And then you could, in turn, go ahead and export this out as a whiteboard that you collaborated on, and it would capture any notes that you put on there. A little bit of a hassle, it's not exactly perfect, but at least it's a workaround that we could use if we want to have a blank template that we reuse again and again. The other option would be to also save it as a PDF, and you could bring it in as a PDF. If you're interested in that, check out my video on Microsoft Whiteboard and PDFs, and you'll be able to see how I do it in that environment. Hope this tip was helpful. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos on the Microsoft Whiteboard and all sorts of technologies that help us learn and teach better. Thank you for watching. And of course, with any glitch or anything that I don't like about Microsoft Whiteboard, I'm going to go into the gear and I'm going to hit feedback.